Welcome back to my channel. We're watching B. Dylan Hollis. Enjoy!
Gentles and ladymen, welcome back to the kitchen. Might I say, it is so good to see you again, and I trust you've been keeping happy, well, healthy, and content. And if that is the case, shall we put an end to that right now? Because I've gathered you all here today to talk about one of the most outlandish cookbooks I've had the pleasure to plaster my peepers upon as of late, and it's this little concern from 1981. Now, from the outset, you may be able
1981 is far too recent for people to be playing around with beef desserts. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. This sounds like it would be like, I don't know, the Jello era where people are like, let's make aspic and put everything suspended in Jello. What do you mean? What do you mean? So what about my hairline? Leave my hairline alone. Leave it alone. Literally 1981. That's far too recent for my liking. That's all I gotta say.
To tell that it is a bona fide down-home, good old-fashioned community cookbook, my favorite, with hallmark comb binding, diminutive size, and delightful front cover. And you might ask, Dylan, what is on the front cover? Why, it is the Sheridan County Cowbells all-beef cookbook from the great state of Wyoming. And I do want you to ponder on that phrase, all beef, as you think about what usually falls in the last chapter of most cookbooks. Now back to Wyoming. Sheridan County lies way up in the frosty north of the state, just bordering Montana. The whole county has about 30,000 people.
At least it's not just desserts.
Sheridan. And it's about as Wyoming and western of a town you can find. As noted by all these family cattle brands you can see here forming a border. America may be too young a nation to have family crests and coats of arms, but you can think of cattle brands as an iconographic equivalent. And indeed, if we open up the book to the Our History section, you can see down here all the family cattle brands of the families of the Sheridan County Cowbells founders. They are but a chap.
Those are weird signatures. Those are like, is that to denote the farm or is that like their signature? I would never sign anything like that. That's crazy. Probably the cow mark. Wait, what? Like a cutie mark, but for cows? There's someone who made their signature 3 cat heads? For why? That sounds like far too much to. You might as well just write your name. You have to draw 3 cat heads? I'm good.
Of the Wyoming Cowbells, founded in the town of Lander in the year 1940, and it's an organization dedicated to one thing: furthering the beef industry. And you can glean as much from the front cover, where it ordains the command to eat beef.
Big Beef says eat beef.
The industry is of basic importance to world existence, and that's a quote I pulled directly from their website because they still exist to promote all things cow and cow adjacent and cow related. In '92, they changed their name to the Wyoming Cattle Women, and they continue to operate and confer and meet with the Wyoming Beef Council et al. And you're free to check out their webpage to learn more, because I'm certainly not doing them any justice. But enough, Dylan, you say. Get to the book! Now, the Wyoming all-beef cookbook may not seem that egregious to you until I introduce you to the table of contents, where beneath the headings of all things safe.
This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Soup, stews, and sauces, roast beef, right? Beefsteak recipes, ground beef. Variety cut sounds like it's awful. Beef salad? I don't know. Okay, steak. Yeah, steak and a salad. That's fine. Baking with beef? Criminal. And beef cook-off probably sounds like barbecue stuff, but baking with beef? Whoa, wait. You can have beef roast, right? Okay, maybe, no, this sounds pretty normal, actually. Yeah, this sounds fine. A meatloaf, yeah, that's fine. I don't really like meatloaf, but this is fine. We're fine, I think.
We get to the chapter, Baking with Beef. Sound the alarm! And I'm afraid it's just as we feared, because the Cowbells took their mission at face value and implored you to insert literal beef into your desserts and sweets. And I'm not talking about suet and tallow. I'm talking about ground and roast beef in your cookies, candies, cakes, and breads. What a fever dream, yet we lie awake. So strap yourselves in and get comfy, because we gonna be making 4 of these recipes in the name of that which we do best: exploration into yesteryear's acts of culinary warfare. So our chapter opens with a proclamation. Add a little protein to your desserts with the addition of ground beef. Tasty and nutritious. And you can see the elevating absurdity.
We're starting strong today.
Like beef bread, beef nut bread, beef cranberry fruit nut bread. Anyway, we'll be starting with the middle one, the plain beef nut bread. Partly because the cranberry one asks for fresh cranberries, and it simply isn't the season. We dodged a bullet with that one. We're going to be starting with our dry ingredients, and here that is 2 cups of flour, with our leavening being 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda,
Is that the powder you're talking about, Adel? That good old baking powder, right? Because that's all you're talking about, right? Did you see beef fudge? You absolutely saw beef fudge.
We got a half teaspoon of salt in there, and they're actually counting the half cup of sugar here as a dry ingredient, even though we bakers typically see sugar as a wet ingredient.
Sugar is a wet ingredient.
Once that's all together, we're to stir in some walnuts, which is essentially flouring our nuts. Ooh, better than deflouring, but that's an old wives' tale that decrees that floured nuts do not sink. They said the same about the Titanic. So the premise will be to combine the dry ingredients and then separately mix together the beefy wet ingredients and bring the two together in matrimony. Let's 3-heat the oven to pre-50 and begin. 2 cups of flour, here we go. I hope you guys been baking, you've been keeping well and doing all the good things. 1.
Instead of doing this, you might as well just weigh your ingredients, because it's a lot of work to do your flour like this. You gotta like fluff it up and scoop it and level it with the back of a knife, or you can just weigh it. You could just weigh it, far easier. And I know the recipes are like, use half cup. Yeah, but you could just find metric. You could just do that. He did say that. Okay, I thought I just heard it wrong. Tree heat to pre-50. Okay, yeah. Yeah. He figured it out. I don't blame Dylan. He's not the creator, but whichever person came up with these recipes needs to be put in a what? An oblette. Oblette? What is that? It never freed? The contraption? That sounds like that's the contraption.
2. Now for the leavening with 3 teaspoons of baking powder. That's a lot of floof powder. Now they're calling for a further teaspoon of baking soda, which is going to be way too much for my altitude. I'm at 7,220 feet, so I'm going to cut that in half and only use a half teaspoon of baking soda.
He's already changed up the recipe, but okay.
And in goes the salt and the half cup of sugar. I'm simply trying to ignore what's coming down the line. Chopping up our walnuts with a perfectly normal implement. Don't judge me, I do what I want. We're literally making beef bread. I fear I've chopped too many nuts, but in they go. Does this stop them from settling to the bottom? No, not at all. All you're getting is dusty nuts. If you want that, go to town. And now we need the beef. Oh dear. Does this got the beef diaper?
This is not good. This is not good.
A half pound of this, which is a lot. You know, as a baker, I thought I could avoid this, but I guess not.
If you've ever cooked ground beef, it like, I don't know, whatever is still in the meat, when it starts to cook, it just becomes really liquidy, and it looks really gross. It's just damp, and I don't want that in my dessert. This doesn't sound good or right, and it's kind of making my stomach turn a little bit. Yeah, the what is it called? It's not blood. It's something else. It's like when people cook a steak and it's not fully cooked. It's another word for it, but it's not blood. You think that's fat? There probably is fat. If it's lean ground beef, it's probably like what, 10%, 15% fat, maybe? Rare, no, I like rare food. Well, rare meats are good as long as they're supposed to be, or they can be.
In goes a cup of buttermilk. As I always say, if you don't have buttermilk, you can always go to the store. Okay, so Miss Ann Coakley, my food and nutrition teacher at Work Academy Bermuda, where I went to school and where I grew
making
up,
that worse for me.
Upon me that you must always read liquids on the counter at eye level, meaning get down on your knees and read this dead
on your knees.
The thing is, if you pick this up and read it, it's going to change depending on the angle.
That's
where
a bit
your
far,
eyes meet.
sir.
So just, pop that down. It's just right onto the beef. As you can see, it's doing just about what you'd expect, being disgusting. Just some pink nondescript soured meat juice.
Oh, that's making me not feel good.
3 tablespoons of margarine. I no longer melt this in butter in the microwave. I can't stand it. It always pops and explodes and it gets out of the vessel, no matter how low a power mode or how infrequently or frequently I do it. I don't know if you've got any tips, but it hates me, so I'm just doing this on the stove. Fire! Now that it's melted, we just stir it in, followed by a teaspoon of vanilla extract, to the beef. Everyone loves vanilla beef. It's
Ew,
really
ooh.
bad. Now, because this is partly a baking soda and acid reaction, once we mix the dry with the wet, we need to act kind of fast because you're producing gas and you're going to want to get that in the oven.
Add cheese, add cheese. This ain't meatloaf. This is sugary. This is bready. This is making me want to dry heave. It's a lot. It's a lot. Vanilla beef, don't do. Who is Trent? Who is Trent? Vanilla beef is the verbal equivalent of a firing squad. What, you say vanilla beef and everyone fires instantly? There's nothing to make this thing recover. When you feel nauseous, I always feel nauseous, although not today, until right now, but you start to salivate because it's like, I don't know, it's bad. It's not good. This video's making me salivate for all the wrong reasons.
So I recommend, if you're baking this, I recommend you have your 9x5 loaf pan ready, greased, and I'm using a parchment sling because there's literally no reason not to. It guards against sticking, especially in a dark pan. So we're gonna put 1 and 1 together to make 2, hopefully not summon something, and throw her in the oven. Oh dear.
That's tubby custard.
It's
I don't.
a fairly heavy batter.
Oh,
On account of the cow. It
no.
moves with a sort of sentience, and it goes on the middle rack, 350 degrees for 40 to 50 minutes. Now, as this is baking, I'm getting a bit of deja vu. Way back to the dark ages of August of 2020 when I recorded and uploaded the first recipe ever. That was the pork cake, some of you may remember, which was a spiced, molassesy fruit cake with
He's got
some
another
quantity
video with
of
pork
ground
cake?
pork in it. It exploded, and I've been doing this ever since. I've baked the pork cake with Jay Leno and Kelly Clarkson on the Kelly Clarkson Show. Crazy. But if we're speaking about why this recipe is so strange, it's because there's a precedent for pig, right? There's a precedent for pork fat in baked goods, not beef. And you say, Dylan, why? Well, it's because ground pork is not that far off of lard, my nemesis.
I guess.
In times of strife, if you didn't
Suet,
have shortening,
right?
lard, butter, you could appreciably approximate lard by using ground pork, right? It's fatty, it sort of melts into the background in the oven, gets overtaken by spices.
Wait. We're actually making pork food, pork desserts like that. Pork food's silly. Don't at me on that, YouTube, please don't. But we're putting pork in desserts and it works. Does it work? It seems like if you're using pork as a lard substitute, it works. But we're not just rendering the fat off of it. We are using the actual ground pork. We're not just using the lard. Waste not, want not. No, you can cook the pork and eat it. Eat whatever pieces you want. And then you can use the fat that's been rendered out in your dessert. Now you got 2 meals. 2 or more. Butter, fat, lard, pork. Ingredients have some slight interchangeability, but may cause spontaneous illness, especially in me. I still have the saliva thing going on. This is really gross, and I haven't even seen the end result yet. When you cook meat, it goes from pink to gray. So this cake is gonna be gray, isn't it? This is bread. I don't know what you are. I don't know what this is. It's just got sugar in it and walnuts. He's gonna wince when he eats it. Absolutely. I'm absolutely expecting that.
And that's all right. Strange? Sure. I described the pork cake as tasting like a question mark. Beef does not do
Question
that.
mark.
Beef is what I would call robust. It does not blend into the background. It stays
Beef
where
is a
it
pretty strong flavor.
Definitively in the realm of savory, which is why if we're trying to use beef fat in baking, you use suet. Okay, what's suet? Suet is raw cow fat, specifically fat from the organs, the kidneys, I believe. And that stuff is prized and used in baking and mincemeat because it does not have the same beefy, savory flavors as fat from the rest of the cow, like the gristle on your ribeye. Okay, so you take that suet, that raw fat, you heat it up, you
I wish I
clarify it,
didn't
you
hear that. I
strain
hate
it.
gristle.
What is that? Rendering. And you get tallow. Rendered suet is tallow, which is great in baking and cooking, and for some inexplicable reason, people have been putting it on their faces, but that's another matter entirely. When you render pork fat from anywhere on the pig, you get lard. So it's all about the fats, just like it was in 1915. Didn't have lard? Go ahead and use ground pork. That's why this recipe is so insane, because it has nothing to do with fat, as evidenced by the fact that it asks for
chunks in my
ground
dessert.
beef. This is just beef for the sake of beef. Maybe a slim argument for protein. It's been 50 minutes, and the recipe says to bake for around so, or until brown and crusty, meaning this method contains both the words moistened and crusty. Quite the accomplishment. Oh, that's crusty, all right. Now, I've only let this cool a trifle because they insist on serving it hot. Such bounties were afforded. You ready? Oh my. Admittedly, the rise is not amazing. Perhaps I should have used all the soda, but I think that's the least of my concerns. Are you ready?
That's just meatloaf.
That's different, man. I'm just gonna do a giant slice.
That's just sweet, nutty meatloaf. That's all this is. This is just eating beefcake for the love of the game. I don't love this game. I would like to unsubscribe. I don't like this. It's literally making me want to gag. I don't. It looks so unassuming, but because I know that there's so much beef in this, that it's not just a banana bread. It's beef loaf with walnuts. You shook at the sight of this? I am shook at the sight of this. It's meatloaf. It's sweet meatloaf. Literal meat.
like that because I don't play around. All right, family, recipe 1 of the beef jamboree. Face your eyes upon this loaf and tell me what you think of it.
I don't think he's gonna like it.
I think much more than I already am. The weight, substantial. The smell,
that's
disconcerting.
dense.
I'm gonna break this in half so I can get some centerpiece.
He looks so concerned. He looks how I feel.
Cool.
He looks exactly how I feel.
Bad. First few chews you think you're okay, but then it hit me in the back of the throat. Cow. You know that savory, salty, slightly umami flavor from hot beef? Might be a stretch to say, I just don't think that goes with vanilla and sugar. And the walnuts just seem to be here to bear witness to this atrocity. I'm sorry, cowbells, the first one is a miss.
Oh my
Good morning,
God.
big dogs. How'd you sleep?
Oh my God, he had to just record a new day. That was it. His day was over. He's done. This is a brand new day. New outfit. He's over it. Oh my God, I feel so queasy. I wish I was him. I'd come back tomorrow and watch the rest of this. Oh no. If I ever become married and my spouse serves this to me, I'll be single the next day. It's so valid. Wait, okay. I gotta take a deep breath. Hold on. Like this is truly affecting me. This is affecting me like the drinks Tetra has been drinking. That's how bad this sounds to me. This is how off-putting this sounds to me. I don't know how I'm gonna make it through Friday. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Double it and give it to the next guy? Double the beef in it too? Ugh. What if I just sip water and just like pray? We'll just pray that I get better. I need the nausea to pass. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, me neither. So the beef nut bread was not a success.
Nope.
And some of you might have seen that coming from a mile away, which means
Yep.
we're going to be moving on now to recipe number 2. I checked this morning to make sure the beef nut bread didn't move from where I put it last night. Just keep an eye on it for undulations. But truly, despite the jokes, and before we do move on, I do want to drive home that this video is not to purely make fun of this cookbook, right? I do believe when a recipe is written, put in a book, published, and, sold with an organization's name on it, there has to be some merit here. There might be something we're missing, and there's got to be potential. So it's not purely
Missing
just
what?
for fun. There is an explorative element to this. We're just trying
it's so
desperately to
explorative.
find it. And find it we might with our second adventure, the beef spice cake. That's right, folks. As you can see at the top of page 86, in broad daylight, a beef spice cake. We love beef cakes around here, right? Gets me excited. But I'm not sure about this one, so let's take a peek at the ingredients. Right off the bat, we can tell it's going to be sweet with a cup of sugar, followed by a half cup of shortening. So there's added fat in this recipe, just like the previous bread. We have a whole cup of raisins. Wonderful. They're going to be plumpened nicely in 1 1/2 cups of water. For the beef portion,
my raisin beef monstrosity. They're missing jacklings. What, you want jerky? You want to add jerky to this, to your gingerbread beef concoction? Maybe not. She's gonna die in 2 more vids. I might. Oh, you hate raisins? Oh, you and Squirrel have something in common. I like raisins. I just don't want them plumping up in beef fat and beef liquid, I don't really need beefy raisins in my life. It's just, I can go without some things in my life, and that's one of them. Raisins are common in beef hand pies? What? There's a world out there that I have not explored. Raisin and beef, what will we think of next? Apparently they're already thought of. Raisins are good except when you're expecting chocolate. Yeah. Like, chocolate chip cookie? Oh, that's a raisin. Okay. But if you're just looking for, or oatmeal raisin cookie, then it's like, oh, nice. I'm assuming a hand pie is like the British pies, mayhaps? What about caramel cookies? Well, there should be no raisins in my caramel cookie. They add some sweetness, think like teriyaki. Is the texture weird? I'm just trying to think of what that hand pie, and what kind of beef we talking? Ground beef? Or like stew beef chunks? That matters too. Texture matters oh so much. You had raisins, beef, mac and cheese with blue. You will make me gag. That's not okay. Raisins and beef, mac and cheese with blue cheese? What's that dish called? Ground beef, not much change in texture with the raisins. Okay. Oh, okay. So you didn't want that dish. You just had that dish and it didn't settle within you. Okay, understood. Because it wouldn't settle within me either. Blue cheese? I'm trying to will away the nausea. All right, let's continue.
portion of the beef spice cake, we have a cup of cooked ground beef. Again, lean. This is different because this is calling for it to be cooked. The previous was raw. For spices, we have a teaspoon each of cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, the old school trifecta, and finally a half teaspoon of salt. And you'll notice that all of this is to be put in a saucepan and boiled for 4 minutes. A veritable babbling brook of a witch's brew. When cool, we're to add 1 3/4 cups of flour, a level teaspoon of soda, I will use the whole amount this time, and a beaten egg. Mix well and bake at 300 to 325 degrees for 1 hour. Now, isn't that peculiar?
The next recipe was chocolate beef cookies. This is all bad. But we're boiling this? What are we making, like a choux pastry? Why are we doing this? Oh my God. Why are we doing, why? What was the goal? Well, why are we eating like this? I guess to use everything, but oh my God, why are we eating like this?
I've baked tons of recipes and I've never seen laxity assigned to the range of oven temperatures. Granted, it's essentially saying just a slow oven, but still odd for 1981. The starting step in this sequence will be to cook the beef and we'll measure it cooked. Oh my Lanta. Hey Dylan, what you doing with that beef? Oh, you know, just starting my cake. Also, pardon the stove, it's been permanently maimed. Nobody warned me about legit oven cleaners. Have you ever used one? That stuff will take your eyebrows off. I don't reckon we need to brown this. I think we're just cooking it. But she also doesn't say whether or not to drain it. So we have ourselves a functional dilemma. What's your stance, Captain? Do we drain it? I don't think so.
At least crisp it up.
If so. There's truly not much. It's pretty lean. We're just gonna go for it. Into the saucepan, a cup of sugar. Half a cup of shortening. Do you like Crisco's rebrand? It's all retro now. I think Jell-O's done it as well, and it's really dapper. A big honking cup of raisins in there. Also, I picked these up.
Raisins look like a cup of bugs. Oh my God.
I don't know what flame raisins are. Are they good? 1.5 cups of water and a cup of beef. I can't get over this. A teaspoon each of cinnamon. Sorry, Pensies. Ground cloves. Which is a lot of cloves. Maybe it'll hide the beef.
Crisco's goated. I don't ever use Crisco.
And you bring it all together.
And I don't want this to be my first Crisco recipe. I'd be so sad. Like, let's try Crisco today. Let me just add the beef and the ginger and the raisins. Yum, yum. Oh, this is pain.
Fire! We bring this to the boil
bread.
and boil it for 4 minutes. All right, it's been 4 minutes. Still looks pretty terrible. Smells very much of cloves. We need to let that cool before we move on. I'm going to preheat the oven to 325. So if you were paying attention, you may have noticed we have another dilemma ahead of us. While she tells us what temperature to bake it at, vaguely, and for how long, she does not tell us what to bake it in. A 9x13 is out because there's simply not enough batter. Our other option is a 9-inch round, but this is a single layer cake, so that would be a little bit unusual.
I bet it's a bundt pan. I bet it is. Also, you hate raisins too? Raisins are great for eating like on their own or like an oatmeal raisin cookie, but you guys hate raisins so much. The beef's not the problem, but the raisins are. This book might have be Depression era. It's the 80s. Raisins are gross. I like raisins, just in an appropriate way. Oh my God, everyone's a raisin hater. Raisins are pretty good. I like raisins, just not in baked goods. I like them in some baked goods, like a bread pudding, leftover bread, cream, eggs, like a custard, and they work well in there. Raisins, sultanas, you're down? I never had a sultana, but if that's just a raisin, I'm down too. You love bread pudding? Bread pudding's good. Raisins are eh? Are dates just dried figs? I think so. Wait, no. Figs are plums? What? Wait, no. What is a? I'm trying to think of what a fig Newton is. Figs are gross too. I like figs. I do like them. Wait, no, I think it's a fig. A fig is just a fig. Yeah. They're the same. Do you know how they're grown? They grow with wasps in them. I will never eat a fresh one. I will never eat a fresh fig because I'm so scared. If you open it and there's a bug decaying in there, I would never be able to eat it again. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Yeah, hard to eat them after knowing their origin. Yeah, there's like wasps in them. That's how they become fig, I guess. I don't know, but they're so good dried. Oh my God. And that's it. That's it. Hey, I don't want a fresh one. Nope. I'm scared. Extra protein? No. And I'll never forget one time I had a date and I opened it. The very first time I had dates, a plume of black smoke came out of the fig, not the fig, the date. No, never again. I'm already weirded out by by dates in the first time because they're kind of like bug shaped, and I was like, I'll try it. That plume is spores. Lovely, Strider. Can Dr. Bronner save me? Was that the Pharaoh's curse came out of the date? It was a magician vanishing before I spotted it. If only it was evil. Not this time. Oh my god, Strider, why? I will not buy dates anymore. I'm scared. That was too much. I didn't need that to happen. That plume of smoke. No more for me. I'm patient 0. Oh no, 07's for me. Maybe that's why I can't remember anything anymore. They'll grow into monsters that come out of you. Okay, but I didn't eat it. What do you mean bugs inside? Figs. That's how they become figs. There's a wasp in there. Look it up or don't. I'm not a cop. The big fig wasp, unless they're lying. But that's what I've seen. Says the cop line. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. I'm not a copper. You're cooked. It's so over for me. I had the Pharaoh's curse out of a date. It's over. It's so over.
Typically, these are used for layer cakes, but we're not filling and frosting our beefcake, unfortunately. Sorry to disappoint. So we're settling on a 9-inch square, which is
we're frosting this?
Cakes.
We're not frosting this.
Potato cake of yore. You've got a single layer, unfrosted spice cake. Go ahead with a 9-inch or 8-inch square. It is time to assemble, so in goes our 1
I already forgot this is soupy.
A level teaspoon of soda, and a beaten eggie. Says to mix well. Oh, it's foaming! Oh, foamy beef! No! Oh, what terrors! Welcome to the Foamy Beef Express. Hold on, maybe this isn't a big enough pan. I don't think that's pan. I don't think that pan's big enough. Quick, pivot! You got to pivot on the heel, y'all. Get out of my beefcake!
I cannot.
I didn't account for the foam. And it goes $3.25 for an hour. Allow me to take this moment to thank our.
I can't look at that. Whoa. That does not look good. Nope. My eyes are really wide. It's because I'm trying to like hold it together. It does not look good at all. That literally looks like puke. Like literally. How many days until it's on what? Scrandle? On Choodle? Wait, where's a Choodle? Give me Scrandle part 2. I'm afraid to see what this looks like when it's over. I really... Why are we making the beefy puke ginger desserts? Why are we doing that? We only eat the female figs that wasps don't reproduce in. And even if a wasp makes it the mistake and crawls in a female plant, they're completely dissolved by the juice. But what if I open it? Cataracts. What if I open it and there's like a bug leg in there that just didn't get absorbed? You're gonna ruin figs forever for me. Don't do that. Ain't no way anyone ate this. Somebody ate this at least once. That's nice. That's not nice. That can't happen. Are you sure it can never happen? Is that 100% true? I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope I never see any kind of bug inside of a fig because I'll lose my mind. Where'd you get that extra 9% from? There's no extra credit here. What are we doing? All right, back to this monstrosity. It can happen. Choodle. Hi, Choodle. I'm scared. I just want to enjoy figs in peace. Nature's a wonderful and wild place where anything can happen. Anything can happen. Including beef recipes.
Sponsor you. Because you guys have been so kind and you picked up my books,
I kind of want his books.
And Baking Across America.
Yeah, I want those.
I'll never do a sponsor segment. There's no sense and I hate them, so why would I put them on you? So thank you, and let's get back to the beef. All right, cuz it's been 55 minutes.
As long as the recipes don't include this.
It is done, and the smell is just cloves. Let's see what we got. Oh dear. That is dense. Appearance-wise, it looks like a fruitcake. Very similar to the pork cake
better.
I made in 2020. Let's just double check. There's a lot of resistance there. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah,
but can we get it out? Ready? Oh, let's see if we can't cut into it. It's a neat little round, isn't it? Well, it's a bit
it looks
rubbery,
so
guys.
unassuming.
Oh my. Is that beef? Recipe number 2. Here we go.
No.
No. Pardon me. I'm not exaggerating, that's very, very bad. The beef is what I would call front and center, baby. I mean, not so much in flavor, but in texture for sure. Very rubbery, bouncy, and chewy, because the beef we not only cooked and boiled, but baked too. Thrice cooked beef in a cake I would not recommend, and the cloves are there, sure, but it only serves to add a medicinal quality to the cow, and you cannot seem to escape that ground beef taste, unlike pork, which kind of melts.
Medicinal, bouncy, chewy beef. Yum, yum. Wow. So amazing. Delicious recipe.
The pork cake was all right. This is definitively not. I'm losing a bit of faith because I
It's
fail to
just
believe that
not
someone has
good.
taste tested this. I'm beginning to notice that the rest of the recipes in the book have names associated with them. The names of the recipe writer. They're proud of them. Calico Beans, Barbara Norris. Skillet Spaghetti, Betty Turley. Hamburger Casserole, Arlene Barbala. The beef nut bread, nobody. Beef spice cake, nobody. Blank. Nobody would possibly assign their name to that. Driven into
This is a
exile,
joke.
into anonymity. It's all coming into focus.
These
But
are
we
joke
must
recipes.
persevere. On to the penultimate recipe, recipe number 3, and we're going to be taking a pause from baking and moving into the realm of confectionery. That is beef confectionery. So if you may cast your gaze over to page 81, you will see we have not one, but 2 recipes for beef fudge. I do apologize if this is your first introduction to the existence of beef fudge. It is indeed a thing. It's absurd,
recipe.
and it's oft cited as one of the most WTF recipes from yesteryear, and we're going to be making one of them. Pertaining to the makeup of these beefy confections, you can see that Merle Shreve's recipe for beef fudge is homemade, all from scratch. A list of ingredients.
A half cup of broken nut meats? What does that mean? What does that even mean?
A list of ingredients, and a very detailed method. Harriet Stark's recipe for beef fudge uses the recipe on the back of the tin. It's the $1 million fudge recipe found on the back of the marshmallow cream jar. She says to make that as per usual, but to add 1.5 cups of ground, cooked roast beef in place of nuts. I'll say that again. Roast beef in place of nuts. We've moved on from ground beef, darling. We've graduated.
Why
Now,
would she
funnily enough,
do
the recipe
that?
for fudge is still on the back of a 7-ounce marshmallow cream jar. However, it redirects you to a website because they couldn't be bollocksed. Both this jar and the recipe in question are under the Kraft Heinz umbrella, now segmented into the subordinates Jet Puffed and Baker's Chocolate. And if we go to the website, you can see
That looks
Fantasy
good.
Fudge. It used to be called $1 Million Fudge. They changed the name long ago. It's the same recipe, same lineage. And scanning the ingredients today, you can see we have 3 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of butter or margarine, 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk, 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, 7 ounces of marshmallow cream, a cup of chopped walnuts, and a teaspoon of vanilla.
So
We
half
ought to bring
walnuts
that
for
sugar,
meat?
butter, and evaporated milk to a full rolling boil and cook it until it reaches 234 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we add the chocolate, marshmallow cream, stirring until melted, and finally the nuts and the vanilla. We pour that into a 9-inch pan and let it cool. But Dylan, that's a new recipe. Don't worry, I did some digging. Here's a period recipe for the fantasy/$1 million fudge, and as you can see,
Did they
man,
say it
it's
didn't
pretty much
change?
the same.
Well, same.
The only real differences being this asks for it to be cooked to 238 degrees Fahrenheit and to be poured into a 13 by 9-inch pan. You know, I was about to say
It makes 3 pounds of fudge. 3 pounds of roast beef fudge. Oh my god. This is gonna be horrendous. Can you imagine just tasting delicious vanilla, sweet, marshmallow, even some chocolate, and then there's just an air of beef in the background? Like, what's going on? Why are we doing this? And these people put their name on these fudge recipes on purpose. You published this on purpose. You did it on purpose. Why? For why? Imagine the burps. I'm going to gag. I'm gonna gag. Ew, 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 ew. I still can't look at the words evaporated milk, like 3 spoons of nothing. It's, you know, I mean, you know what it is now, right? You just evaporate the water, the water content. I don't, no, do not let me break 3, do not. You won't look at fudge the same way again? Just make sure it doesn't contain beef and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Now, if it does contain beef, run. Don't look back. Do not pass go. Don't purchase. Do not. Or do. I'm not a cup.
I cleaned this really well to get the beef flavors out, but it doesn't make a difference. Off to the races with 3 big old cups of sugar. Let's get our margarine in there. 2/3 of a cup of evaporated
What a
juice.
waste of ingredients.
And we start by cooking just this, boiling it, and bringing it to the softball stage. You know, it's worth noting that this recipe can be considered a legit fudge, barring the beef, of course, because it's looking for precise temperatures and stages and all that stuff. You might remember my Velveeta fudge or the peanut butter fudge, and those fudges aren't so much fudges as they are solidified buttercream frostings, just held together by the sheer might and starches of powdered sugar. They're still good though, but this is more legit. It's so hot in here. Sorry if I'm shiny. Before we fire this, let's get everything else ready.
It's hot everywhere, dude.
Prepared. 12 ounces of chocolate chips coming right up. Did you know that these chocolate chips were invented specifically because of the cookie? The Toll House chocolate chip cookie came before chocolate chips were invented. These were produced just to make the cookie easier. Read all about it in Baking Across America. Let's open this up. Is it going to pop?
I know that.
Oh, a little creamy emanation never hurt anyone. Now tell me what you think about this business with the ground.
Is that normal? I've never opened one of those before. Why does it burst? Oh, altitude. He's like high up, right? Maybe that's why. Because I've never seen that before. That's different.
Cooked roast beef, because we need to get that ready too, and I trust your discerning beef fudge palates. Is there a world where they ever mean shredded roast? Or like, are they talking about roast beef, roast beef? I'm of half a mind just to chop this up now. We need 1.5 cups of the stuff. Oh my gosh, it smells like a deli up in here. In place of nuts, use roast beef. I've never heard such a thing. I've never heard such a thing in my life.
Crazy.
I mean, what a substitution. Hey, I don't have any nuts. Can I use beef? I have a feeling this needs to be really fine. You know what? It says ground, so let's grind it. I only want us to do this once. Clear. Please be 1.5 cups. Oh, it's on the money. You know what? That bodes well. Maybe they did mean deli roast beef because that package size has not changed in a while. Which means the only thing we have left for the mise en place is Nilla. Let's go! Now, as this comes to the boil, I should tell you that I decided to go with the old school recipe's instruction as far as pan size is concerned, and I'm going to be using a 13x9. I've already put a parchment sling in there. The new recipe says a 9-inch square. It's just the difference between thick and thin fudge. But I am using the new recipe's instruction for temperature. It says 234. The old says 238.
Same.
You never know if they've changed the temperature because they've changed the ingredients in the marshmallow cream, and I don't want any scorching. Boy, if you thought baking was the only thing to change with altitude, you'd be wrong, because confectionery and candy changes with elevation as well. And that's all because of air pressure, baby. Technically, this asks for 234 degrees Fahrenheit, but at my altitude of 7,200 feet, that's going to be closer to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about a 2 degree Fahrenheit reduction per 1,000 feet gained in elevation, and that's just because of air pressure. It is relentless. And it looks like we're just about there. Again, if we were to take this to this softball stage, which is assuming we're at sea level, it would actively be too high. We're looking for 220, or if we were following the old recipe that's asking for 238, we would be looking for 224. But you're probably not as high as me. All right, I'm gonna call it. Let's throw in the chips.
It must suck trying to figure out recipes, because most recipes are for standard altitude, right? Like, you're just like, oh yeah, I'll bake these cookies, or I'll make this fudge, or I'll make whatever. And now it's like, oh, my recipe fell apart. I wonder why. Altitude. That sucks. Don't be high up. I don't know. That's crazy.
And the marshmallow cream. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? Too bad, in goes the beef. This is terrible. Don't forget about
Soiled
vanilla.
it.
All right, let's pour this out.
Soiled it.
Great. Great work, everyone. And we just need to let that cool completely. Good morrow, sports fans. Are you ready for some beef fudge? How about that for a chocolate patio? Admittedly, I was worried it wasn't going to set because it was rather thin when we poured it out.
Unassuming.
But it took a long time to cool down, and it's fairly solid now. I do not, however, think we can lift this straight out by the parchment. Maybe that's why they changed it to a 9-inch square, to make it, you know, easier to come out as a block. I suppose a good old-fashioned test wouldn't hurt. 3, 2, 1, go!
It
Beef
looks
fudge.
great.
I shall cut this straight down the middle like a maniac. Okay, folks, what do we think? It's a fudge. I can't see any beef here from the exterior. It's got a nice crackly top. It is a bit soft, but I mean, 234 is a degree below what most would consider softball stage, even at sea level. So maybe they just want a soft fudge. Just make sure to cool it down. Don't have a hot kitchen. We need to taste it, don't we?
I'm nervous. Something has to be good, right? He looks nervous. Oh, is it bad? Everything's bad. Or maybe not.
How bizarre. I
He
can't
likes
say I
it.
register the beef. All right, I'm not going so far as to say that beef improves the flavor of any fudge out there, but the flavor profile of roast beef seems to fairly match that of the chocolate. I'm not explaining it well, but that curve is kind of analogous.
You know why? Probably because the roast beef, the deli roast beef, is so thin that it can just kind of melt. It could just be like in the middle of it and just like not be so present. But when you have clumps of ground beef cooked down and super boiled down, it gets all spongy and weird. Those are big pieces, even if it was ground beef, but that's like way thinner. So that's more manageable. I'm still not making this. I'm still not eating this. Just a way to deliver protein and fudge. But we don't need to do that. Just like, I don't know, there's probably a cottage cheese fudge recipe out there somewhere, right? Get your protein that way. Eat your milks and whatever. You'll take the beef and the chocolate separately on the same plate though. If you get any meat fine enough, then it'll be subtle. You would know. Here in Turkey, we make pudding out of chicken. What? Chicken pudding? Sweet or savory? Add meat fudge to the punishment wheel? Do you want me to survive? I think you would like me to survive. Just chicken breast. Okay, but still, that's still very chickeny. It's a sweet, milky pudding. Now I know if I were to ever end up in Turkey, maybe skip the pudding because it could have chicken in it. I'm good. I'm not looking for beefy or meaty desserts. I'm just not. That's not for me. It's making my stomach turn just thinking about it. Or skip turkey. I wouldn't just skip turkey overall, but maybe I just wouldn't eat the pudding. It can't be worse than that gummy bear. You were watching The Watcher. I was thinking about buying the super hot gummy bear, but I might not survive it, so it wasn't recommended. So he likes it. Kinda. It's okay.
Oh my God. I would eat this. And I don't know what that says about me. It's not because beef somehow makes a superior fudge. It's because the flavor of the beef seems to be driven into exile. Perhaps that speaks well to the magic of chocolate over anything else. Or
so you don't taste the beef at all, so therefore good.
The deli notes are gone. 1.5 cups of roast beef in a fudge, and I'm not in peril. Folks, can we consider this a marginal success? 1 success out of 4 thus far.
Does that count,
if you want to add some protein to your fudge, you have my dubious seal of approval.
Just use cottage cheese.
All righty, honored guests, all hands on deck because we've reached our grand finale. The final recipe we're going to be doing in the Sheridan County Cowbells All Beef Cookbook. And you say, Dylan, what might that be? Well, on page 86, beneath our fallen honored foe, the beef spice cake, you'll see a recipe that we're not going to be doing for no-bake chocolate beef cookies.
No-bake?
You can see the recipe in question. Beef sugar plums.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
I thought a sugar plum was just like a plum. Not a thing you can make. I didn't know what sugar plums were. He looks so concerned. I feel so concerned. Oh, no. Heavy is made of sugar plums. We love TF2. No bake? No, I think that's bake. It was the cookies that were no bake. It was no bake beef cookies. Right. I mean, you can eat raw beef, but like, come on. You can learn about sugar plums from Max Miller. I don't know who Max Miller is.
Afraid it so appears at present that the storied Victorian confection of yore, the sugar plum, seems to have an all-American beef brethren. And you say, Dylan, what is a sugar plum? Well, historically, it was either a fruit, a nut, a seed, or a spice coated over and over again in a sugar syrup that would be colored. That syrup would harden to form little balls of very festive hard candies. My compatriot Max Miller actually made a video where he laboriously manufactured his own sugar plums, and I suppose now it's our time to shine with beef sugar plums. The ingredients are as follows: 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of brandy flavoring. There's no hooch in that house. A cup of chopped walnuts, a cup of cooked ground beef. Again, they want us to cook the beef before we throw it in there. 1 1/2 cups of graham cracker crumbs, a medium
graham crackers
apple,
are so good.
And a cup of raisins chopped. And if we are to see what lies in our future, we're to melt the butter in a saucepan. Add the cooked beef, raisins, and apple and brown sugar. Now that part is basically just making mincemeat with meat. Cook that over low heat until mixture becomes thick.
I'll be so real. I have no idea what mincemeat is. If mincemeat is not meat, why does it have the word meat? Is it like the meat of something? So like the meat of fruit? Like, why is it called minced meat? I know you can buy it in a jar. I don't know what it is. Only have rum extract. Would that count? Probably. It's probably good enough. I mean, as long as you got the beef, that way you can have all the full flavor. You only have brandy, does that count? You might want to just guzzle that brandy after you make this anyway. So sure, it does count. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Got it. Add nuts and cool. Okay, then add the brandy. Work in graham cracker crumbs and form into small balls. All right, so I mean, this is basically like a protein ball recipe, minus the protein and peanut butter and stuff. We roll those balls in powdered sugar after balls are cold. And store in covered container in refrigerator. Improves with age. You know, I doubt that. Let's get ourselves started with some
aged graham cracker beef balls.
Cups.
Yum,
Let's
yum.
See where this gets us. Just like that. Now, you know me, I don't recommend a lot of kitchen appliances. I'm of the mind that you can do a lot on manpower alone. You simply don't need them. However, a food processor is one of those great things that you never realized you needed until you get one. Like I say, it's a blender that doesn't complain. All right, we have our 1 1/2 cups of graham cracker crumbs ready, and I'm going to empty this out and shove an apple in there because the apple needs to be ground. And I'm going to immediately contradict myself because this is a great tool too. 3, 2, 1. I think that'll be stellar. We're using a Granny Smith apple, and I mean, this is going to brown a little bit in the meantime, but it'll only be cosmetic. On to the walnuts. I love walnuts. Chopping walnuts for beef.
Those are pretty good.
Plums. I have this theory that people who say they don't
beef,
like
that's a
walnuts
problem.
are really just accustomed to bad and off and rancid walnuts because I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a lot of bad walnuts recently from the store. I mean, within date, I bought a bag the other day, and it was rancid from the get-go. I was like, what's wrong with people and their packaging of nuts? Look at that. I'm an absolute pro. Right on the money. Raisin time. Now, whilst we're here, it's worth explaining, piercing through some of the recipe fog, some clarification. Whenever you see 1 cup of chopped walnuts, no punctuation. That means you measure chopped walnuts to equal 1 cup. However, when you see 1 cup of raisins, comma, chopped, you're to measure a cup of raisins and then chop them after. It's a bit daft, isn't it? But that's just the way it be.
I've learned something.
I will chop these with a knife to the best of my ability because when you put raisins in a food processor, just like figs and dates, it kind of just turns into a hard paste. And there we have it. Can I confer with you for a moment? The recipe says to melt butter in a saucepan and then add the cooked beef et al. I'm very lazy. I don't like to do that many dishes. Might you allow me the liberty to cook the beef in the saucepan?
That's cheating,
and then simply add the
Dylan,
butter
but sure.
Now, this is not lean beef, so I may drain this a bit once it's cooked. Here goes nothing. But you know, for a moment, my mind glazed over the ridiculousness of this. I'm going to drain this so as to not anger the beef council. That's not the right way to make the beef sugar plums. You're supposed to drain it. All right, and now we add in a tablespoon of butter. Once that's melted, add the raisins, apple, and our cup of brown sugar. And again, we're essentially just making a mincemeat here. I mean, it even kind of looks like mincemeat.
Weird.
We're just using ground beef instead of suet. The apples have released their water, so it's fairly liquid. As far as using cow products in desserts is concerned, this recipe so far is the truest form of them all. I mean, it even smells good. I won't lie, though I really am resisting the urge to put in some cinnamon and nutmeg and stuff. It is a troubled mincemeat, and look, it's just starting to get thick. Okay, I am calling...
I'm trying to understand what mincemeat is. So I don't know if anyone said it after I said it, but is it just apples and raisins and what, some spices? I've never had a mincemeat pie. What do you guys do with moonshine and Everclear? What's happening over there? This is definitely beef. There's definitely ground beef in there. It's something. Also, hi, Circadian. But what suet? Is that the pork one? Or is suet the cow fat? Which one is that? Which one was it? Wait, I'm lost. Mince pie is dried fruit, but it's called mince meat. Right? I have been sipping. I've been just sipping randomly. Even if I didn't see your hydrate, I'm sipping. Thank you, Steven. But I'm perplexed. Maybe I need to try it one day. I don't know. I feel very weirded out by this though. So it's a cow fat. Okay. That's from like the organ fat. Okay. A mince pie is a sweet pie of English origin filled with mince meat, a mixture of fruit, nuts, spices, and spirit, usually brandy or vinegar. Well, that's not the same thing, but okay. Why is it called mince meat? They're discussing substitute for the booze, or maybe just add it. I thought they were talking about fruitcake and how they didn't want to waste alcohol in it. Mince pie origin was actually meat. So it went from meat to being fruit to being meat again right now. Interesting. A play on words recipe. But like I've seen minced meat in jars, and I was thinking, there's meat in these jars? Maybe it's not meat. Maybe not. Maybe.
It now, so in goes the walnuts. We're gonna do a little mixy do and let it cool. Let's get this in here so you can see. Lovely jubbly. We'll be using a teaspoon of the finest rum on the planet, the export
That's
of
not
my home
extract.
country of Bermuda. And finally, for this stage, the cracker crumbs.
You can do anything
Whether
you want.
or not this will form a ball remains to be seen, so hold your breath. Ooh, it's looking good, Captain. Let's take a test. We'll use a cookie scoop to portion.
I don't think that's gonna set.
Right.
Oh, never mind.
If we go by smell alone, I have the most faith in this recipe because even though it didn't taste it, the beef fudge had that deli smell about it. I found that rolling these with wet hands makes this a whole lot easier. I mean, some of these are just going to be raggedy, but even the best of us are sometimes. They are absolutely old-fashioned looking, but they don't look bad, do they? And the penultimate step is just
rustic.
to chill these down. As for the rest of the recipes in the Baking with Beef chapter, let me admit to you that they're not all as outlandish as the recipes I've picked for us to do today. Take, for example, page 84 and 85, where you'll find not one, not two, but 3 recipes for suet pudding, a dessert that you'd expect to find bits of the cow in. One of these suet puddings the cowboys apparently used to call son of a gun in a sack. I like that. There's also a great hors d'oeuvre-y looking beef and cheese bread that has a yeast-risen dough, shredded Swiss cheese, and thinly sliced smoked beef. I'm down with that. But they are now ready to rock and roll.
It's just the desserts that are really weird.
Say they look like a snowball. Quite welcoming, lest you know what lies beneath.
Maybe it tastes good, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But to see something like this in this super powdered sugar, like the coating, and you're like, look at this like little maybe donut ball or this little tasty bonbon or like whatever you want to call it, and then you take a bite and you find out there's beef in it. I'm fighting. I'm fighting whoever invited me over. I'm fighting the person who made this. Everyone's getting fought. If it's good, then I'll be a little less upset. But I don't know. Russian roulette sugar plums. You don't know what you're getting. You have no clue.
Behold the beef sugar plums.
They look lovely.
And I mean, they held together, they rolled well, and they look rather festive. Cheers.
He's so worried. I'm worried for him. He likes it.
Dare I say that's lovely? The top notes I'm picking up on are raisin and apple. I can taste the rum or the brandy if you choose so. There's a chew from the nuts. It looks good. What a strange day. Wow. They are mincemeat protein balls. Emphasis on the meat, sure. And if you don't believe me, and I know some of you don't, you've got the recipe. Whip up a batch and see for yourself. I'm quite certain that
very
you'd like
hesitant.
them. Okay, perhaps certain's a strong word. The texture, no, not the texture. There's a resistance, a bounce to this that is unnatural. I mean, everything else about this is straightened up and flying right. Even the flavor, the apples and the raisins and the brown sugar seems to have taken the beef in and allowed it to shine. It's rather harmonious, not hidden like the beef was in the beef fudge, but the beef here is incognito. I can't quite believe I'm sat here in front of you defending a beef sugar plum, but I appear to be doing just that. And I hope you're not calling my mental fortitude and constitution into question, because if you tasted one of these, you'd know exactly what I mean. It's an old-fashioned
I would not want to try this.
It tastes like mincemeat, but it seems to get a pass to use beef in dessert. Would they taste better without the beef? High chance. Yes.
I bet.
What have we learned today with this beautiful array of one-of-a-kind recipes? I'd like to know your take, but I'll offer you my stance. I think if you're trying to get more people to eat more beef, you should tell them to make more hamburgers. Because this was quite the roller coaster.
Burgers are so good.
The spice cake.
This is not okay. This banana bread looking thing is not okay. I know that's not okay. And look at these chunks of beef in this ginger thingy. That's not okay. And I know I would not like the powder ball things over here because, one, I hate the texture of gristle. And if I were to get gristle in my sweet treat, I would explode. I would just explode. He says it's bouncy, that there's a resistance. That should not be in my dessert. I don't like the idea of that. That's still making me queasy. This whole video has made me queasy. The only thing that's been less quease inducing has been the fudge, because I can't see the meat in it. But why would I do that when I could just make the recipe without the beef? Just skip the beef. If you want protein, just eat some meat later. I don't need a meat dessert. We don't need meat desserts. Or if you do, then sure, eat your beefcake. But oh no, I'll pass.
You're disturbing. I'm just telling it how it is. The beef fudge, well, I don't know what happened there.
Beef fudge
This
looks
chocolate's
good.
a hell of a thing. And the beef sugar plums, which by all rights appear to stand proudly on their beefy merits. Boy, I'd sure like to know if you folks have any advice or inputs on how we might improve any of these recipes, barring removing the beef entirely, of course. I'd like to know if you've tried any of these, if you have any beefy stories.
Would
or
you
if you're
guys make
planning
these?
on trying any of these. But above all, I'd like to thank you so much for sticking around this
YouTube,
long.
would
Thank
you
for
make
watching,
these? YouTube,
and I
did you
hope to
make
see you
these?
again soon.
They come and go,
They can just go.
the ones I know. They say to me, you're a fool
They give it and you'll do it.
to be standing here all alone.
I wouldn't even put that evil out there, because what if someone's like, surprise? No. No. I don't want any parts of that. Nope. Never in your lifetime. Lumiere is so stuck on the chicken. Okay, what other meat desserts are there? And have you made any? It's one of those $50, but much higher of a number. There's a lot of things I feel like I can't do and won't do. I just don't want to feel sick. I don't want to eat something and then puke immediately after. Like, is that so much to ask? I think it's fine. I think it's pretty easy to ask. Chocolate covered bacon, is a thing. All right, and what, like bacon pancakes? Sure, okay, that's the pork thing talking, right? Where people are like, oh, or rather people, he's like, you can put pork in things. Yeah, I guess you can do that. But perhaps we don't have meatloaf, chocolate covered meatloaf. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't. Maybe. Well, dude, throwing up's not cool. It's really not. It's really not. You're doing a gross foods tier list that I'm helping you. I gave you some Amazon links. That's it. You know what, pizza? Maybe you should make this. Maybe you should make the gingerbread beef thingy. Go on. Chicken and waffles. I like a sweet and savory. I just don't think you should be blending up said chicken and making waffles out of it. How about that? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right. I've said it a lot. You can do anything at least once. At least once. Should you have done it? Maybe not. But you can do it at least once.